Okay, so let's get into this. We are doing a deep dive on something most of us, well, secretly dread, but we almost never admit it.
Right.
And that's being truly fundamentally alone. And I mean, when we say alone, we're talking about 100% alone.
No TV, no scrolling through your phones.
No music in the background, not even another podcast playing.
Yeah.
Just quiet. Just you and your thoughts.
And if we're being totally honest, for the vast majority of people, that's not a peaceful scenario. It's almost unbearable.
Yeah.
We are tribal creatures. We evolved for community, for connection. That drive is just so deep in our DNA.
But here's the thing. The statistical reality is that the older you get, the more time you're inevitably going to spend alone.
Whether you choose it or not.
Exactly. So relying on constant outside noise is a pretty dangerous strategy for survival,
Right.
If we can't even handle our own company, we have a major problem on our hands.
Which is exactly why our mission for this deep dive is so critical. We're going to explore the psychology of how you can, well, completely rewire those thought patterns.
So stop seeing being alone as this burden or a sign you failed somehow.
And start seeing it as a genuine, even necessary opportunity for growth.
And the key to all of this, it seems, is in a distinction that changes everything. We have to separate the idea of loneliness from solitude.
Absolutely. Loneliness is that pain of feeling disconnected. It's about a lack of something external, and it comes from a place of fear.
But solitude.
Solitude is the power of being deeply connected to yourself when you're by yourself.
Because that's the one reality you can't escape.
Right.
The only true home you will ever have is the one inside yourself. And that relationship needs attention.
It does. And that's where this critical mindset shift has to begin. When people say they're lonely, what they often mean is that they're in a state of solitude, but they just don't have the skills to manage it.
We get them mixed up. I mean, culturally being alone is seen as a bad thing. We assume if we're by ourselves, something must be wrong. You get FOMO, you look around and think, why isn't anyone hanging out with me?
And we have to untangle the state of being from the state of mind. Being alone is just a state of being. It's a physical fact.
Right.
Loneliness is the painful state of mind. It's that inner voice, that critic that says, I shouldn't be alone. I wish I was with somebody else.
So loneliness is all about scarcity. It's that feeling of I'm missing something, I need something from outside to be whole.
Exactly. Whereas solitude is rooted in abundance.
It's saying I have everything I need right here inside me, and any socializing after that is just...
It's icing on the cake. It's a bonus.
And this isn't just a nice idea, is it? There's actual research that backs this up.
Oh, absolutely. A 2017 study looked at this exact dynamic, and what they found was that the key thing separating a good experience alone from a bad one was purely mindset.
That seems almost too simple. How did they actually figure out that choice was the key variable? Because life often forces us to be alone.
That's a great question. They were really specific. They compared people who said they actively chose to spend time alone versus those who felt like it was forced on them. And they found that the people who chose it, even for the same amount of time, reported way more self-awareness and, this is the key part, reduced stress.
That makes so much sense.
Right.
Because when you frame it as a choice, it becomes a tool.
Right.
You're deciding to recharge. But if it feels imposed on you, it feels like a failure. And that just makes you feel worse.
Precisely. The physical reality of being alone is almost secondary to the story you tell yourself about it.
Which brings us to this huge paradox of modern life, right?
Yeah.
We've just said solitude is good for you if you choose it. Yet most of us actively run away from it.
Yeah.
It's like someone gives you this beautifully wrapped gift of free time. No demands, no emails, nothing.
It's the thing you dream about all week. You say, I just need 5 minutes to myself.
And then you get it. The house is empty on a Saturday morning and you panic.
You freak out, you grab your phone, you turn on the TV, anything to fill the silence.
So why? Why do we crave it and then instantly try to escape it?
Because the silence forces us to face ourselves. And for most of us, that is terrifying.
It is so terrifying, in fact, that the lengths we go to avoid it are, well, they're almost unbelievable.
There was this truly shocking study back in 2014. They put people in a room and just asked them to sit with their thoughts for 15 minutes. That's it.
But there was a catch.
There was a catch. They had a button they could press to give themselves a mild electric shock.
And this is the part of the source material that always gets me. A huge number of people, something like 2/3 of the men and 1/4 of the women, chose to get shocked.
They chose physical pain.
Rather than just sit quietly with their own minds for 15 minutes.
Think about what that means. We literally prefer external discomfort over the discomfort that comes from our own minds. That's the level of avoidance we're all dealing with.
So when we finally put the distractions down, the phone, the TV, all of it, we finally meet what's been bubbling under the surface the whole time.
We're running from ourselves. And the sources point to 5 big categories of things that come up the second that silence hits.
Okay, let's break them down. The first one is probably the thing we work hardest to suppress: unprocessed emotions.
Exactly. This is the deep, heavy stuff we never make time for. The grief you haven't really cried about, the anger you swallowed,
Guilt, resentment, shame.
all the emotional leftovers.
Yeah.
You can keep a lid on it when you're busy, but the moment you slow down, they demand to be heard. They don't just go away.
Okay, so after emotions, the second thing that comes up is our deep-seated fears.
These are the stories we keep quiet by staying busy. The fear of failure, fear of what other people think of us, money worries.
Or that really deep one, the fear of not being worthy, of love, of success.
Yes. In the silence, those fears get really loud because there's nothing on the outside telling you that you're okay.
And then number 3, which can feel a lot like just general anxiety, is the sudden awareness of our unmet needs or desires.
Oh, this one is huge. When it's quiet, you might suddenly realize, wow, the life I'm living is making me miserable.
I feel totally unfulfilled. Or that question, will I be alone forever, suddenly feels massive.
It's so much easier to just scroll past that feeling than to sit with the discomfort of knowing you need to change something.
And the fourth one is that constant background noise, our negative self-talk, the limiting beliefs we have on a loop.
The inner critic. I'm not smart enough, I'm a fraud, or that really common one. My only value comes from how productive I am.
And in solitude, with no one else around to validate you, that voice can just take over.
It really can. And then if you get past all of that, you hit the 5th and maybe the biggest one of all, the existential question.
What is my purpose?
Why am I here? Am I actually living, or am I just going through the motions?
We use noise to protect ourselves from how huge those questions feel. It makes total sense why someone would reach for the remote.
Of course.
So if we know all this difficult stuff is waiting for us, how do we change our view? How do we stop seeing it as an emergency and start seeing it as an invitation?
We reframe it as an invitation to get clear. It's a chance to hear your own thoughts without everyone else's opinions and ads and noise getting in the way.
It's where you find out what you actually like, not just what you've been told you should like.
Exactly. Solitude is the only real space where true self-awareness can actually grow. You go out, you interact with people, you get triggered.
But it's only when you're alone later that you can unpack all of that and understand why you reacted the way you did.
Precisely. And we have to change our language. If you feel what you call boredom, stop calling it that.
Call it what?
Call it relaxing your mind,
Yeah.
regulating your nervous system. You cannot be go, go, go every second of the day. Rest isn't being lazy, it's essential.
It all comes back to that really tough core truth, doesn't it? That loneliness often isn't about missing other people. It's about not liking the company you keep when you're by yourself.
And that can sting. I mean, it can really hurt to realize that. But it's the first step you have to take to heal.
You're the one person you spend your entire life with.
Right. And if that relationship is full of criticism and tension, you can't thrive. Seeing all that buried stuff come up isn't a crisis, it's an opening. It's your chance to rebuild that relationship with yourself.
Okay, so let's make this actionable. If you accept the invitation, what are the steps for, constructive solitude? What does the research say?
Step 1 is the most immediate. You just start paying attention to your inner dialogue. How do you actually talk to yourself when no one's listening?
Are you kind? Or are you just constantly shaming yourself?
Exactly. Just noticing that is the first step toward self-compassion.
And step 2?
Step 2 is more about structured reflection. A 2016 study found a couple of methods that are really effective for this.
Okay.
The first one is journaling, but not just, scribbling. This is an intentional check-in. The best way to do it is to write a letter to yourself.
Just ask, how are you really doing?
And then give yourself the space to write an honest answer with no judgment. You're basically telling your inner critic to take a break.
I like that. It reframes it as self-care, not homework.
Right. And the second part of step 2 is stillness, or meditation. And if meditation sounds scary, just call it sitting in stillness.
That's small.
Very small. 5 minutes a day, no distractions. You just sit, you breathe, and you notice what thoughts come up. The goal isn't to solve them, it's just to be curious about them.
That curiosity part feels really important. The impulse is to immediately try and fix a negative thought.
And that defeats the whole purpose. When you hear that voice saying, you're wasting time, just notice it. Let it pass. You're teaching your nervous system that it's safe to just be.
Okay, but let's be real. For a lot of people just starting out, 5 minutes of quiet can feel like an eternity. It can actually make you more anxious.
That is a very common hurdle. Which brings us to step 3, solitude with purpose.
Yeah.
If going cold turkey with zero stimulation is just too hard right now, then dedicate your alone time to building something, to creating or learning, instead of just contemplation.
So instead of trying to force some deep internal moment, you do a meaningful activity by yourself.
Exactly. Learn a skill, read that difficult book you bought, paint, play music. It reframes the time. It makes your solitude feel full and productive, not empty and scary.
And there's research on this approach too, right?
Oh, yes. The Journal of Happiness found that people who do meaningful solo activities, writing, exercising, playing an instrument, report way higher life satisfaction, and critically, lower levels of loneliness.
It's like a stepping stone.
It's a perfect stepping stone. You're using solitude to build who you are, making your inner world a more interesting place to hang out.
So really, what this whole deep dive boils down to is that this whole effort, learning to sit in the silence, facing the discomfort, turning it into a strength, it's all about becoming your own best friend. That relationship deserves the same care and attention you'd give to anyone else in your life.
And in the end, you don't solve loneliness by just getting more people around you. That's a temporary fix, a Band-Aid.
So what's the real solution?
It's solved by building a deeper, more honest connection to yourself, getting clearer on your purpose, and understanding what is truly meaningful to you.
So here's the thought we want to leave you with. The next time you find yourself alone, don't rush to fill that silence.
Don't grab a phone.
Just take a deep breath. Sit in it. Embrace it. Because solitude, when you really choose it and use it, is one of life's greatest teachers. It's the most powerful tool for self-discovery you will ever find.